Hi guys, and welcome to this week's Alakazam Video Blog. Hello, welcome to this week's Alakazam Video Blog. I am joined as normal by Harry.
Yeah, I've done Twisted Sisters about 50 times since last time we spoke. So.
Yeah, and in actual fact, I have been reading through some other effects from the Dear Mr. Fantasy book as well. So that just goes to show you that the Andy versus Harry challenge not only is inspirational for you guys, but something that we carry on and have a look at as well. We do have an Andy versus Harry challenge coming up, but we have this week a new item, an older item, an item that really lots of people haven't paid too much attention to, and a book.
As well. We've got to have a book in there.
As well as the Andy challenge. So before we go any further, let's have a look at your choice this week, which was the DMC Alphas.
Yeah, so I've always seen these on there, and every week I say it, mentalism, blah, 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 right? But I wanted to try something with these because it is true, when you reveal the name of someone, in my personal experience, I feel like people react better, but in a different way. For example, if I were just to reveal a playing card, that's really cool, and it does get a really good reaction, but it's not the same as a name. Right. Because it almost, I feel like from a spectator, if I was to write down a random person's name that I know, already you've got a connection to them. You haven't got a connection with a Jack of Diamonds as such. Right? So if I was to do that, and someone was to reveal it for me, I'd almost feel like they have tapped in and they have kind of met the person I wrote down. So with these, you can do a lot of name revelations. You can also do a lot of kind of things with couples. There's some nice stuff in there with them. But I tried something which you'll know straight away what it is, but it's just a nice way of doing it, and a slightly more impactful way, I feel.
Right.
But yeah, I just really want to improve my performance. So hopefully, learning stuff like this will get me to perform better.
You're right, this is something different to your normal pick a card type effect and using normal cards, and there is something that is intrinsically interesting in someone's name. As soon as you get someone to sign a card, their interest level, it peaks because now it's a little bit more personal for them. And people love the sound of their own name. So as soon as you're using names or anything that's associated with them in any effect, you're immediately on that different level because it hits them at a different level as well.
And it is weird because as a spectator, you do buy into it. Like, my blue name's John, right? So say I just revealed the name John, they wouldn't, in their head, just see the name John. Do you know what I mean? They would really feel that I know the person, I've really got the person and hit the nail on the head there. So I do think it goes a bit deeper. It's almost like the gallery deck. But even maybe a step further.
Right.
I mean, the gallery deck is incredible and I've got that on me all the time. But once again, it is cards, but it's not a card trick. It's not. They don't associate it with it.
Yeah, it's something different.
Yeah, which is nice. But obviously you can take your standard card tricks and apply them to the gallery and these. Obviously these slightly differently, but most of them still work. But yeah, so it's been fun, and obviously with the other DMCs, sorry I'm rambling on it, with the other DMCs you do get a passport. There is a passport for these, which means you can go Disneyland and stuff like that. I'm joking, it's not a type of passport. There's just a number of nice little effects in there, and it's just a nice little booklet to carry around, and it's good as well. It's written easily, obviously Phil Smith and DMC and that, but yeah, so I looked in there, I learnt a few routines just quick.
And it's important also just that these are sold separately. The Alpha deck is a product on its own, so is the passport as well. If it was me, then I would go for both because the deck is a great quality. It's marked as well as our other DMC decks, and this has tons of great stuff in it as well. So if you're looking for something a bit different, then this might be something that is worth checking out for you. And knowing the quality of Phil Smith and DMC's work, then you're going to have some really great routines in here as well.
So do you want to see? Well, do you want to watch one? Because I actually performed it on who did I perform? Theo. I performed it on Theo earlier.
Let's take a look at it now.
Theo.
Yes.
I've always been fascinated with the idea of being able to pluck certain words and thoughts from people's minds. Alright, so I'm going to try and do that with you today, but I'm also going to try and send my thoughts and words to your mind, okay? So you're going to do some mind reading as well as me. Right. So, I have got a deck of cards here, but they are actually an alphabet deck, alright? So rather than playing cards, they've got different letters on. So you've obviously got duplicates of certain letters because, for example, Happy's got 2 P's in it, alright?
Yes.
But basically, I want them to be in your control. So take them and give them a shuffle. You can do it face down so I don't know what's on top, etc, etc. But just so you know that they are in a random order.
Yeah.
Alright? Now I want you to cut roughly half the cards, put them on the table, and then I want you to choose which half you want me to use and what you want to use. So it's completely fair.
You have this one and I'll take this
Lovely.
one.
So now we have got completely random letters, fair? Now I want you to go through and just make a 3, 4, or 5 letter word, okay? And once you've done it, just spell it out to the table. Okay. Okay? And I'll do exactly the same. Lovely. Okay, so you've got one down on there,
yes.
Yeah? Okay. Now I want you to take my letters and shuffle them into your pack.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to take yours and shuffle them into my pack. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So now they're completely random.
Yes.
Now I want you to spread the cards in front of you. Yeah. And now pull out the word you're thinking. You think I'm thinking of, sorry. And then spell it onto the table once again.
So the word I think you're...
Yeah, and I'm going to do exactly the same for you. So
sure,
clear your mind and everything. Right, it sounds a bit weird, but we'll go for it. Right. It is really difficult, especially the first time, but it's fine, I'm sure. It would be incredible. I think yours was a 4-letter word, wasn't it?
How long was yours?
4.
Right.
4-letter word.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was...
Okay. So now we've been left with these, and you could have thought of any word, correct?
Yeah.
For the first time, what was the word that you were thinking of?
Use.
Use. Right. That is the word that I did, in fact, pull out. It was used. Right. But it would be even more incredible if you pulled out the word I was thinking of, and that word was same. S-A-M-E.
Same indeed.
And it is that.
Yes, indeed.
Lovely. So well done, Theo, you legend.
Brilliant, Harry.
It's not bad, is it? You know, it is such a strong effect, and obviously the more you get used to it. I did only just open this one up earlier, so even though it's the same as the previous DMCs, the letters are. You need to get used to the letters, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it is incredible, and there is so much you can do with it, and that's why I do like this book as well, because even though you may know a lot of stuff and a lot of routines and stuff, it's nice just to be prompt and just to show you can do this with it. So then once you've got that, then you can say, oh yeah, and I can do this with it. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice just to have the foundation. You get like 6 or probably a bit more than that actually routines in there, which is just nice.
Yeah. So I've immediately thought of 2 routines that I would probably use it for. Chad Long's shuffling lesson. Imagine that you did that particular routine, but rather than having aces and kings, for example, you have wins, loses. So that comes out. Another one, if anybody knows any decent ace assembly, obviously it's 4 cards. You could spell someone's name fairly easily by just adding an extra phase onto a standard ace cutting routine. Sorry, if I said ace assembly, ace cutting routine. So you do the cutting the aces, and there we go. You've got turn it over, and it spells out the person's name or the message that you want.
You do get that'd be nice, and you do get a yes and a no card in there as well, which is nice. And one other thing is, there's a routine in there which is very nice, and basically, you know the one where what's it called, where you've got the kings and they go and find.
The collectors.
Yeah, there's something like that in there, but you use like a couple's initials. Right. And then the cards they find actually spell out love, so L-O-V and an E, which is just nice, you know, and it's easy, it's not hard for the performer. But I also just will say they are really good quality cards as well. Which is nice. Obviously, it's nice having a good idea, but when they're on crap cards, it's like. But no, they are on really good cards.
And they are decent quality, as are all the DMC decks.
But that's all I was going to say about it.
Excellent. Okay, so if you like the idea behind the DMC alphas and the passport to alphas, check them out. They're on our website now, available today.
Yeah, we got both in stock, I think.
So, Harry.
Yes.
One of the new things that has been released this week is this lovely thing here. This is Promnesia.
Yep.
Graham David Fishwick approached us about 6 months ago, I think it was now. He sent a video in to Peter initially, and then Peter passed it over to Dave. I also saw the video that was submitted separately, and we were talking about it one day in the office, and we liked the idea behind it immediately.
Yeah.
And you know, when you got something that's given to you and the effect is there, and you're kind of watching, you're thinking, God, I think that would be really good. It was only when we started playing around with it as well that we found that we come up with quite a few variations.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, we had Promnesia not only as the effect, which is great, but also a project that was here. So we took it on board. It's now released. It is a fantastic little packet trick. And it actually looks like you're doing a lot more than you're actually doing.
Which is always good.
So before we talk about it a little bit more, I think that we should look at a trailer for Promnesia.
Hi everyone, I'm Dave Lucy from Alakazam Magic, and I am super excited to present to you Promnesia by Graham David Fishwick. Promnesia is a super visual effect with just a few cards. It comes with everything you need and 3 handlings for this amazing trick. Promnesia is a fun and ultra visual card trick that you can keep in your wallet. It uses just a few cards and looks a little bit like this. I went to the magic shop the other day. I said to the guy behind the counter, have you got the trick with the aces? He said, you mean this one where you can show the cards, the ace of clubs to be face up, you give it a little shake like this and the club will change to the heart. One more little shake, because that does the magic, the heart will change to the spade, and again the spade will change to the diamond. I said, that's the trick. He said, unfortunately we're sold out, but we do have the one with the 1, 2, 3, 4 queens. How about that? I said, that sounds great, but I am really after the trick with the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. Do you have it in? He said, they're not due in for a while, but we have had a brand new version come in which uses the 4 kings. 1, 2, 3, 4 kings. Do you fancy that? I said, look, it's great. And it was showing me the backs at all time, which really threw me off, but I wasn't after the trick with the 4 kings. He said, look, because it's you, he dealt underneath the counter, he come up and he showed me the cards, and there we have it, the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. He let me have his demo copy. He said it's $24.99. I said I haven't got the money, so I still don't know how the trick even works. Not only are you going to get Graham David Fishwick's original version of this, you're going to get my handling and Andrew Paul Smith's handling all included in the one package. As well as the cards, you're going to get a streaming video where you have myself and Andrew Paul Smith teaching you all 3 versions of this incredible effect. There is absolutely no reason why Promnesia should not be in your wallet, so pick yours up now at alakazam.co.uk.
That is Promnesia, our new effect. It was released this week and it's selling extraordinarily well. Like I said previously, this is a great effect that I think has scope for other variations. And Graham's been talking about it on his Facebook page. He's been talking about it on our Alakazam page as well. And that's exactly what he pointed out, was that it allowed for variations. Once you started thinking about the principles behind it, then you can adapt it to things that you can personalise, that would be yours, and really you can play around with it and come up with some really neat ideas. I played around with this a lot. I was playing around with it. I had lots and lots of different versions, some more complicated than others. The version that's on the DVD, Colourblind, you get a lot of magic that's happening, as in Dave's version as well, a lot of magic that's happening for very, very little in the way of work, sleight of hand wise as well. Literally the cards do everything for you, just a very basic bit of sleight of hand, you're ready to go. And you will be stunning audiences with this little effect. It's really that good.
It's crazy, and I do remember actually there was a lot of buzz around it when it was in the kind of being made process. Because every time you come in and be like, "Oh, I've got a new variation. What do you reckon of this one? Got any one of this?" But they're all so good, and there's so many hits. Do you know what I mean? You're lost as well, especially when you keep showing the backs. It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. So there, so the DVD comes with the necessary gimmicks. I say DVD, sorry, I don't know if this is a DVD, I think this is a streaming video. Yeah, this is a streaming video, it comes with necessary gimmicks. You get the original version on there, you get Dave's handling, you get my handling, and there will be some bonus videos that will be going up in due course as well for the other variations that the three of us have come up with in the meantime as well. So if you haven't checked it out already, see what all the hype is about and check out Promnesia on our website now.
Just one little extra thing, it's because it's Alakazam products, it's worldwide free shipping.
Very true.
So wherever you are in the world, you can get it. No shipping charges.
Yeah.
Love
so
it.
Why not check it out?
Yeah. Sweet. What have we got next?
Well, I think that we should talk about the Andy versus Harry challenge. What do you reckon?
Right, yeah. Let's go to it. This week.
Yes. So we had last week, Tom Rolfe.
Yep.
He posed a question via email, which was to do with scripting. Okay. Now, I know during the week you've taken every opportunity to come over to me and say, "Oh, we're doing the thing where we talk about patter this week."
Oh,
and
gosh.
in all honesty, I would have been in the same sort of vein. I would have said exactly the same thing. And I kept saying to you, it's not called patter, it's called scripting, right? And the reason I say that is because I used to call it patter. I used to call it patter every time it came up in discussion. And Sarah said to me, Sarah from the Academy, hello Sarah, she said to me, don't call it patter, call it scripting. And it became like a running joke, yeah? And then I kind of, I realised why you shouldn't call it patter.
Why?
And we'll come back to that in just a second. So Tom posed a question about how do you put an act together? How do you sort of like choose material for a start? And how do you go about scripting that? So I thought that we could spend the next however long, we won't go on too long, don't worry, however long, talking about our experiences, because you're fairly new to Magic overall compared to me.
Yeah.
I've been around a long time in Magic, and I know that we have different opinions possibly about the way that we're kind of approaching stuff, but also similar sort of things that we've discussed as well. So let's have a look at the way that you kind of start. So if I was to come to you and say, how would you put an act together? What are the things that you have in mind where you think, well, this is what I'm going to do?
It's hard. Well, obviously, you need to know how long it is. Obviously, you need to know what it actually is. So obviously, it will change depending on if it's a stage thing, a close-up thing, and stuff like that. But ultimately, I'll go for the tricks first.
Right.
So what effects do I want to have in there? And then I feel like once you've got that, it's easy to then, not easy, but you can then script around that. Do you know what I mean? I find it easier getting the tricks in than trying to script and then fit the effects around the script. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So first thing I do is look at the duration, what it actually is, and then look at how many effects I would need that would make use of the time but wouldn't be confusing.
Right.
And then try and just script around that.
Right.
I don't know if that actually answered anything. Really.
No, I think it does. I think it's there's no right or wrong answers when it comes to scripting and putting an act together. I think that is the main crux of certainly what we're probably going to be talking about. And the one thing to bear in mind is there's no right or wrong answers. It's just through experience, through trial and error. And it's interesting you say about choosing the effect there. Because quite often we see effects and we go, wow, that's amazing. And I don't know whether always we look at effects, and I think this goes for all magicians, where we look at effects because it amazes us, but it might not amaze our audiences as much, or it might. True. You know, this is the thing, and this is why I think it's a constant loop, a constant feedback. You're always kind of assessing those things, because I see effects and I think, that's amazing. Yeah. And then my brain kind of backtracks a little bit and thinks, is that amazing because I think it's a brilliant effect, or it's got a clever method, and is that going to be the same for the audience?
Well, I don't want to get hate for this, but it does go back to the invisible deck, arguably one of the best tricks because it's so easy to follow. As a performer, you haven't really got to do anything. Yeah. But I don't know why you would. You do kind of drift away from that because you forget. Because as a performer, you would look at the skill level. Do you know what I mean? But then when you break it down, they're going to name any card and
Yeah.
it's face down.
I was working last night with a couple of other magicians, and jokingly, one of them said to me, and Dave was with me as well, said to us, I just been doing this magic. And then there was something else that he said as well. I think he used, I don't do the difficult stuff like you do, and I'm not as creative as you. And then he said something about the other magician as well, which were all meant in jest and all very, complimentary as well. But it did make me think last night. I thought, well, I hope I don't come across when I'm performing, because I do like technically difficult sleight of hand. I may not perform all of it very well, but I do like it.
Wow, you do.
But the trouble is that sometimes and certainly on the back of that last night, I thought, well, when I'm working, does my persona, because I might use techniques that for magicians are deemed technical, come across to lay people that I'm focusing more on the magic rather than the experience? And I've noticed kind of a change, certainly for me over this last couple of weeks. I'm going more for experience, or the experience of the magic that's happening, rather than them even getting an inkling, even though they might not know what's going on, rather than them getting an inkling of, he's really clever. I've never wanted to come across that way, and I don't think I ever have, but I want it to be eliminated altogether. So I want them to literally go away going, the only explanation I have is that it was real magic. So when you choose effects, and I know you are very particular about the effects that you've chosen, that you go in thinking, what effect is this going to have on my audience? Yeah. And what experience are they going to have?
Obviously the experience is a really big point, but also I like to, there's kind of, I know it's really bad, but there's one kind of structure of a thing that I really like, which is when there's a big ending, and there's loads of different things that have happened during it that are then at the end as well.
Right.
It's kind of a structure that I follow. So I do try and have one of them in an act, because I just think, because it's enjoyable for me, but I know from watching it and from going and watching other places with other people that they enjoy it as well, like lay people. So I tend to know the effect and know the ending, and then try and see ways where I can add in extra layers and extra kicks that aren't confusing. Right. Which then all kind of comes together at the end.
Yeah, so you make it all come together at the end, so that it wraps everything up.
Yeah, which could be bad, to be fair, because there isn't a lot of magic going on until the ending, which can be deemed bad, but there's always stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? You're getting something selected, or you're selecting something, you're thinking of something, and you're doing that. So you're all involved in it, but nothing really happens until the end.
And quite difficult, I could imagine, in a close-up environment where you've got a lot of other stuff going on as well, a lot of other factors, trying to tie that together. Yeah. That's interesting. So, also, when you choose the effects, do you try and make them, so let's say I tend to, if I'm going to perform an act close up, I tend to go for 3 effects. 3 effects that I would do, that I tend to stay with the same one in the middle. And this is just for close up. If I'm booked to do, let's say, a wedding or something, I tend to stick with the same effect in close up, in the middle. I change up maybe the beginning a little bit, and I change up the end sometimes. Yeah. But essentially, I go for 3 effects if I've got time to do that. Yeah. Do you, if you were choosing those effects, would you choose 3 effects that logically link with one another, or don't you think that matters?
I don't really think it matters.
Right.
I mean,
I guess it's a persona thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it matters. I mean, mine do kind of link, but I just say everything's to do with, or not everything, but I say it'll be influence or whatever.
Right, so your theme is...
Yeah, so I have got a theme, but the tricks don't link. It's not like 3 card tricks or 3 this tricks. You know what I mean? It'll be extreme burn, invisible deck, and then like the MD mini or whatever. Right. So they all just link psychologically, but... Yeah, it's not like flowing this straight into that. Do you know what I mean? But they do kind of flow. So I guess.
Yeah, and that again, I think is an important, it's an important consideration, because there will be magicians that quite rightly would theme, and they would make everything make sense about what they're doing. Yeah, and then for a majority of people, and I can totally understand why. They don't necessarily have to have causal links. They or even a theme. as long as it kind of makes sense what you're doing in each effect and it's clear what you're doing in each effect.
I think that's the main thing. If it's clear,
It's clarity.
And to be fair, close up, the waiting for ages and building up towards the end is for a stage thing.
Yeah.
When I do close up, I do try and have a lot going on at a time because you're only there for a short amount of time. So that's why I do extreme burn, invisible deck. And although the MD Mini isn't that powerful, there's still not that powerful. It isn't that quick. There's still 3 phases of it. So you are getting a
gravity to it.
Yeah.
There's gravity to it, and that's it. I mean, we quite often work in environments where it has to, or you get the feeling that it should be quick. But sometimes there are those moments when you can slow down the pace, and actually that gives texture to the act, and also people instinctively know when they're seeing something that is special, devoid of the other stuff that you've done.
Yeah.
So if you do extreme burn, you come over and you go, look, bang, like that.
Yeah.
That's very much wow.
Yeah.
And then you've got this bit in the middle where you can maybe have a longer routine with the invisible deck.
Yeah.
And now you've got a more sort of like more serious, more focused thing with the MD Mini.
Which they do. I do think they separate them in their mind. But they still remember the quick stuff. So they remember that, but then they kind of think, okay, so now they know what's happening. I can really get in touch with them and get close. But I do I don't know, gig ages ago in Holland with Michael Vincent was there, which was just fun to watch, and Leo and Dave. And I was talking to people for like 5 minutes or 7 minutes before I even done a trick, which was fun. It just got that thing. But then after that long amount of time, I then done the quick trick, and then the MD, which is a nice build up, slow one, but it gets everyone involved, which is nice.
Yeah, brilliant.
How about you? Do you? What's your best texture? Quick, then this or then that?
My texture is that I generally start off with something that I don't want to call it a sucker trick. I guess you could call it a sucker trick, which is quite simply just a card change. Generally, the wrong card, a card selected, it's lost. The wrong card is found. And then it changes into the right card.
Nice.
But I use that because it's, you walk over to a table and people have these preconceptions of what magicians are. Generally, it's kind of like, come on in, show us a trick. Yeah. Not all the time, but most of the time, especially if you're working, a big corporate function like I was last night, it's kind of like, show me what you got.
Yeah.
And then if you can go in there and you do something like that, and potentially it's wrong, and they go, kind of fulfilling my expectation here that he's rubbish, and then you make the card change without now ever touching it. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they've gone, whoa, hang on a minute. Right, this isn't some guy that has just walked over and halfway through the evening and wants to show us a trick. We've got to take this a bit more seriously, and then they sit forward. So I kind of take that stance. The bit in the middle is a slightly longer routine, and then I have something that I finish with, which again is the most impactful, I think, of the set, and something that that is a little bit more serious. When I say serious, I'm not meaning like really sort of like, you've really got to concentrate on this. I mean it's serious because of what is happening. Although it has a light-hearted kind of presentation around it. It's
still so weird though, because I know, and I do agree with what you said, but when people still do have that kind of vision of what magicians still are, do you know what I mean? It is weird. They do still think it's like cheesy, which is so weird because you thought the amount that's been on TV and stuff like that.
Well, I'll give you an example. So this function that the 4 of us were at last night was 600 people, and corporate event, drinks flowing. People have been there a little while. They're there to party as well as accept awards and stuff. And literally, you walk past the table, and the men certainly, and sometimes the women as well. They're kind of like they'll be talking to one another, and they'll catch a glimpse of you, and they're like, "Hey, hang on, there he comes," like this. And to that almost to that sort of extent. Oh, come on in. And this is the second year that I've done this particular function, and one of the magicians said to me last night, there's going to be a guy there, and he loves magic, and you'll see as soon as you go anywhere near his table, if you get his table, they will be like, hey, come on in. And I think they do have that preconception, rightly or wrongly. It's not a bad thing. They're not heckling you.
Yeah.
They're just anticipating what you're doing, and again, rightly or wrongly, they're anticipating that what they think in their mind. I mean, they don't know whether you're going to be good or not, right?
Yeah.
And my kind of take on it is that I'm kind of there going, right, okay, bit flashy. Card jumps out the deck. It's the wrong card, and now they're sort of like, you know, he obviously failed without it being too much of a sucker check. And you do have to ham it up. You do have to play the part right, and then. Now you've got a moment because there's a distinct moment in that particular routine or that particular effect where it jumps out the deck and then it's wrong, and I'm like, what? And then I put the card down and I say, well, seriously, what is it? And you get all sorts of reactions like, well, you tell me, you know, and stuff like this. And you're like, hang on. And then I do this. And then they turn over the card and it's the right card, and then you can just see the look in their face. It goes from, oh, you know, we've got one up on you, to now sort of like, oh my God, you know, how did that happen? And it kind of works well with me. Just before we move on, one thing I was going to say, this moment here, where you kind of do this and then you look, was a great thing that I got from James Wentz Academy.
Oh, nice.
He said, and he had a couple of moments in the routines that he did where he would lay the card down on the table. And then he would look at me and he would say, what would you do if that was your card? And I'd say whatever I said, and he'd go, like that. And that's all he did. And then I'd turn it over, and then immediately you're like, like this. And I found that doing that is just literally sort of...
And it's always such a good thing as well when they turn the card over.
Yeah, exactly. You should let them turn it over.
Rather than you just turn it over. It's just such a small point.
Yeah, you should let them turn it over.
Nice.
So I said about scripting, and just quickly I wanted to touch on this. So Sarah said to me, don't call it patter, it's called scripting. And I wondered why, and she said that it was because that was what it was called in Scripting Magic by Pete McCabe. And I've never read either books. So she decided to lend them to me, or I asked to borrow them, I should say. And I've started reading them, and I think they're amazing. And for someone that doesn't script magic, and I've said this loads of times before, I don't sit down and I write a script or anything. I think they're amazing. I think there's some really very good information in there. One other thing that I was going to say is that if you don't think about scripting, then that is purely your own choice. Yeah, I'm still in, even after 32 odd years of doing magic, I'm still not at that stage where I will write a script out, even though I've started reading these books. But one thing that I would urge you to do, and this again comes from James Wentz Academy, he said have a great opening line, the importance of the opening lines. Yeah, and I think even if you got that bit down, if you got that bit down and you thought, right, do you know what, I don't script my act, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to wing it. Even if you thought that and you had that in the back of your head, at least make the effort to think about your opening line at the table or wherever you're going to.
Makes sense.
Because I guarantee, as soon as you've got that opening line, your brain will then start filling in the gaps for what you're saying the rest of the time, and then you'll start thinking about closing lines as well. Yeah. And before you know it, you've got a script for your effect or your act or whatever you're doing. So just the importance of opening lines. They can be funny, they can be serious, they could be a mixture of both. They can set you up for things that are going to happen later on. So why not just one line? That's all it has to be, really. And then you're there. So try it out. I guarantee that once you've done that, the rest will just start following. And check out Scripting Magic as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's a good little
I hope so. I don't think I even spoke about scripting, but I just went off at the tangent, but it don't matter.
No, well, I think that was
That's
good enough.
fine.
We might elaborate on it a bit further in the future. So before we move on to this week's, to the next Andy versus Harry, just one last thing I want to say. If you're into card magic, this book here, Stand Up Card Magic, I picked this off the shelf earlier on because I think on the back of what we just said there, if you like card magic, and you want to learn from someone or read about someone that has really taken the time to script and think about the way that an act to do with card magic is structured, check this out by Roberto Jovi. You will not be disappointed. There are tons and tons of great effects in here, tons of great ideas, and something I think that you'll seriously learn from. So that's the only thing I'm going to say about that. Check out Stand Up Card Magic by Roberto Jovi.
Lovely. Right, what are we moving on to?
So, I had a look at the next Andy versus Harry.
Right.
Yeah. You're going to like this one.
Oh God.
No, you are going to like this one.
What is it?
So on the back of the Bannon one,
Yeah.
So there's been quite a few people that have emailed in and said we love the Bannon stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was Doug Heath. Doug Heath emailed in and said, "Do you know what? I'd love to see your take on a self-working card trick each."
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's just it. So let's have a look at a self-working card trick.
Okay.
Yeah, just one or a routine. Preferably, we'll go with just one trick.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And we will present that on the next Andy versus Harry. So Tom, congratulations. Not Tom.
Yeah. Congratulations for
Doug.
Tom earlier though.
Yes, Tom. Congratulations for sending this week's one in. Great.
Yeah.
And Doug, congratulations for the new one. So we're going to look at the self-working card trick. We will choose one each, and then we'll perform it next week on the vlog. So remember, Doug, as well, email into us, and we'll get out a deck of Academy Elites in the post to you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So our last thing that we're going to talk about.
Nice.
Oh.
Do you remember the days when this was just on the shelf and everyone was saying, "What the heck is that
Yeah.
sexy thing?"
Yeah. It was up there, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a turning point in the Alakazam packaging. That's
Yes.
all I'm gonna say. But also a very, very good product, and something that was it there the first time I was at Blackpool, or was it the year before?
I can't remember. I know that when this was released, people were going mad for it, and still do go mad for it. But I when I picked it up off the shelf, I thought, you know what, this deserves
It does.
mentioning again. It is a lovely, lovely product. Steve Cook is a genius. For those of you that are attending the Minds Convention in a couple of weeks' time, I think it is, I know that Steve is doing a masterclass there. I'm fairly certain he's doing a masterclass there. And he's just such a lovely man, and he's just such a clever cookie as well. And everything he does is not... look, the methods are never complicated.
Yeah.
You know, good magic does not have to be complicated magic. It's never complicated. The effect... in things like volition, for example, the effect is very clear. The method behind it is extremely easy, which allows you to play with the presentation, and it's just a really good effect. Symbol, it's an amazing effect.
Yeah.
It really is.
Carry on, that's other issues I say.
No, that's fine.
When I was doing my personal training course, I was only doing magic for like, how long have I been doing magic for that? Like only a few months.
Yeah, not long at all.
Yeah. And this was the first trick that I showed the whole class.
Yeah.
And it was really good because we was all just sitting up eating lunch. And so I was like, "Oh, can you show me something?" So I was like, "Okay." I ran to the car and I got this out. And it was a nice little one because it allowed me to do a story, a really nice story as well. And you can do it with your own business cards, by the way.
Yeah.
You get taught that. But yeah, it was a nice story. And basically, I got them to think of something. And it was nice because the whole class was all different ages. So I got them to obviously draw something. And then there was people behind me. And it was good because I'd done it once already. And then I had to do it to someone else. And that you get another handling on this, which is really, really good. I mean, the angles are incredible on it anyway.
Yeah.
But it was really, like, literally someone's behind me and I still done it properly.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But yeah, it was one of the first ones, and it's so easy to do. You're comfortable with it within minutes, really, of performing.
Well, and that's it. You know, there are other things on the market that will achieve the same thing. But if you want something that's direct and easy to use, then the stealth case is still the best in my opinion. What's great about it is a clever method, but also some neat handlings like you've already mentioned, and some great ideas along with it as well. So we're not going to talk very much further about this. Suffice to say that if you want something in your mentalism arsenal and you haven't got it already, then the stealth case is the thing to look out for. So we're going to go to a trailer, and we'll see you again in a little while.
Steve Cook, the creator of Volition and Symbol, has created what in my mind is the most organic looking peak device ever. Under test conditions, you have your spectator write or draw anything. Their drawing is sealed within a stack of business cards and placed into the business card case. Now, even under these test conditions, you can duplicate exactly what they've drawn or written. The Stealth Case is an innocent looking device that is mechanical to make the peak 100% self-working. The angles are absolutely incredible and the peak is instant. By using the Ryan card supplied or your own business card, the Stealth Case will be the peak device of choice. I'm Peter Nardi and this is Steve Cook's Stealth Case.
That is the amazing Stealth Case. They are in stock. Check them out. Like I said, if there's something that you are looking forward to adding to your mentalism arsenal, then this is the thing.
One last really quick thing. A lot of people, when using peak things, are like, oh, I hate the fact you've got to go back in there. Why have you got to reopen the thing to get something out? Now, I don't think that's an issue, but you do get sort of handed in that where you don't have to reopen it. Once it's in there, you don't have to go near it again. That's it, it's done. So if that's a worry of yours, then you do get taught away in there, which isn't difficult, which is the way I was saying I done with someone behind me, where you don't have to go back in it again. Just in case that puts you off, just thought I'd let you know that.
Excellent. Okay.
Sweet.
So that's pretty much it for us today. We are going to leave you just before we go to the actual end credits with one last product. This has been flying off the shelves here at Alakazam for the last couple of weeks now since it's been released. Or actually the last week since it's been released, but the pre-order as well. And we're going to leave you with Richard Sanders' Any Card. So on behalf of myself and Harry, enjoy this and we will see you next time on the Alakazam Video Blog.
Imagine this, you walk up to someone, hand them a deck of cards, have them think of any playing card. You then tell them you made a prediction inside the deck they're holding. In fact, you turned over the 4 aces because you're pretty sure they're thinking of an ace. They say no, they're thinking of the 4 of clubs. At this point, they think you've blown the effect until they turn over those 4 aces, revealing the name of their thought of card. This is a killer effect. You can work this with any card named. This is a prediction system built right into a deck of cards. It's easy to do, it's powerful, there are multiple presentations that are included on this project. This is a worker, this is Any Card.